Hey, what's up, people? Welcome to my podcast, Shar's World Life Unfiltered. This is a space where we get real, raw, and ridiculously honest about life's ups, downs, and in betweens. And I'm your host, Shar, your new bestie in the podcast world, and I'm so glad you're here. So, this show isn't about perfection, it's about progress. It's about letting go of the filters, tearing down the highlight reels, and keeping 100% real. We're gonna laugh, maybe cry just a little, and have the kind of conversations you didn't even know you needed. So, I hear you ask, why is she doing a podcast? Well, it's simple. I just want more out of life, more growth, more joy, more reality, and yeah, that's basically it. To be more authentic. I started this podcast because of encouragement from my family. They basically saw something in me that I didn't always see myself. I wanted to better myself, provide for my family, and obviously create a space where we could talk about the stuff most people basically run away from. The messy, uncomfortable, real life topics that we all face but rarely discuss. Sounds good? Alright, let's get into it. So, let me take you back a bit and share the heart and soul behind why I hit record on this mic. It's story time. Let's go. Let's get ready to rumble. So, this, I already mentioned it like briefly, like my very first episode, in episode 1 of the podcast, which is let me introduce myself. On the reason why I actually started this podcast, and it's basically the push that I really needed but didn't know that I need, if that made sense. Um, we was just I was just casually sitting in my mum's room, with dad, and like we're watching Married at First Sight, and I don't even know how the podcast got brought up, but starting a podcast got brought up. I think it may have been like an advert or something that we'd seen. Um, and he was just like, "You'd be good at doing a podcast. Why don't you do it?" And I did say that I did. I have been considering it for quite some time, but just like I don't know if it'd be something I'd be good at. And he was like, "Yeah, you'd be good at it." And my mum was like, "Well, yeah, because you like to do like your little lives and whatnot." Which I do. I enjoy doing like my TikTok lives when I was doing my business, which I still do. I just don't go on TikTok that much anymore. Um, so as crazy as this sounds, because I basically obviously had nothing to do, that night I came up with a title, created a few thumbnails, which I know need work, guys. It's all a work in progress, and it will get better, I promise you. And then I was then thinking of different topics that I could discuss and writing them down. And then I thought to myself, you know what, they're right. I can do this and I will do this. Um, I suppose I just need that extra push because I think I'm so used to being in front of the camera and like talking naturally to people is just a natural thing on camera. And doing a podcast is basically that. But I only do, as you guys can clearly tell, it's currently audio for the time being. I will get into doing video once we actually get to see me, but for now it's just audio. And I do watch a few podcasts myself. I'm like, you know what, I can do it, because they would have started out the exact same way as I did, and they've pushed through, and that's where they've reached now. So I can do it. And I think since having that discussion, whilst waiting for Married at First Sight to come back on, and whilst I was eating my biscuits and jam, I was like, you know, what? I'm gonna do it. Planned my first episode, layout, everything that I wanted to discuss, and I was like, you know what? Yeah, I think this is going to be all right. And this is how this little baby was born. And that was it. That one moment, that push, where I knew it was time to stop waiting for the perfect time and just do it. If you are listening to this right now and you're sitting on a dream thinking, oh, I'm not ready, or no, I can't do it, I'm here to tell you you'll never feel ready. You just have to start. But hold up, we're only just getting started here. Because while family gave me the nudge, I had to figure out what I wanted to talk about, and that's where it got interesting. So, I look at podcasts and I think, okay, so they're talking about this topic and that topic. However, I've not really actually come across, well, I only listen to like 2 podcasts, so it's not obviously a lot. But I've never really come across a podcast that actually talks about topics that people don't really talk about, like the taboo topics. And that's where I thought I'm gonna do an unfiltered podcast, a life unfiltered podcast. That's basically addressing the raw, real, and even sometimes the uncomfortable topics that no one really wants to talk about. So people are thinking, so why is it life unfiltered? What does basically anywho? So what does unfiltered mean? It basically means that I, as your host, is committed to being real and having those honest conversations. No sugarcoating, no filters, no fake positivity. It's going to be said exactly how it's going to be. Expressions will be shown. Not going to hide anything. And whatever topic we speak about, I'm just going to speak it from the heart and be real and be honest. So there are a few topics to expect, which I have mentioned in my very first episode. So we'll be going into money struggles, relationships, insecurities, mental health, all those things that people don't really want to talk about. Those are the things that we will be talking about. And with some of these subjects, I will be linking stuff in the description. If you do need any sort of support, or if you're looking for help, those links will direct you to those sort of pages. And you're all thinking, why does it even matter? Well, it's very important to me to be unfiltered, and I fight because I've been filtered for quite a long time. I've been very reserved, and I'm coming out my shell. I want to say things how they are and not be like, oh no, I can't say this because so and so's going to be upset with me. Um, that that sort of thing, and you guys should care about having an unfiltered opinion. Your opinion is your opinion, and no one's going to change that. And don't let anyone be like, oh no, you can't say that, but you can. Like, you know, you can say whatever you want, obviously to a certain degree, but you know, like, if you want to grow or you feel misunderstood, this is the best way of being like, this is how I am, this is how I sound. If you don't like it, you know where the door is. If you do like it, then you know, stick around and you'll actually get to understand me as an actual person. So that's basically the heart of this whole podcast. This episode is going to be quite short because it's just a brief overview as to why I'm doing this. So we're not here to obviously tiptoe around the tough stuff. We're going all in. The hard convos, the cringe moments, the lessons we didn't see coming. And if you've ever felt like you're alone in the mess of it all, newsflash, you're not. I'm right here. I'm right here with you. And speaking of being in it together, let's talk about the ultimate why behind this show. I'm not doing it just for me, I'm doing it for us. Let me tell you what I mean. So, this podcast matters a lot to me because I've been able to see my own personal growth, you know, being able to see how far I've come and be like, okay, that actually wasn't too bad. Um, I want to build something that lasts, and I'm also providing for my family. Like I've just recently have my own little family from end of last year, 2023 December, gave birth to my daughter, and me and my boyfriend are really trying to get our stuff together and really save save to get a house, save to obviously move out, save so that when my daughter's like 18, she has money already aside, so she wants to do driving lessons, um put down, or when she's 21, put down a deposit on the house. That is that's all that matters, and I want to be able to give back to my own family. Like my mum has been my ride and die. She's been supporting me obviously for such a long time, and any venture that I do, she supports me hands down. You know, like she'll ask, "Oh, how you getting on with this?" Da, da, da. Like she shows interest, and she can see that I'm trying so hard. I don't want to work for someone. I want to work for myself. I want financial independency. I want to be able to be like, "Oh, okay, we're gonna go on holiday here. Don't worry, I've got it covered." That sort of thing. Um, so there is a lot of reasons why I'm doing this, but family is the main reason why I'm doing this. My goal for this podcast is for it to, don't want to toot my own horn. I want to be number one. I want to be the number one podcast in the world. I want to be known as that's the girl who talks about everything that nobody wants to talk about. That's the girl who's unfiltered. Like, oh my god, that is Shar. She is an inspirational. I want to be inspirational and motivational to every single human being out there. That is my goal. Um, and I do see this growing. You know, I'm like, I don't have a big fancy studio. I don't have a major setup. I am doing this off my laptop. And then obviously, when I go back to work and have some more time, I'll be able to do actual video recordings. But I do have big visions and big dreams for this. So, you know, if you do have your own dream, take that step and you'll reach that goal before you know it. Mark my words, Char's World Live Unfiltered podcast is going to be the number one podcast on all streaming platforms because I will make it happen. I have a lot riding on this, and I'm not going to, you know, not going to give up on it. I'm going to work hard and I'll get there. And that's it. That is why I'm here. It's not just for me, it's for us, for my family, for you, the person listening right now, knowing you want to do something big, but you've been holding back. If I can start from scratch with a mic and a dream, trust me, so can you. But hold tight. I've got one last message before I let you go, and I think you're going to love it. So I do want to say that I'm so glad that we got to share this moment together. I hope you're feeling seen, inspired, and maybe even a little bit fired up to go after something that's been sitting in your heart for too long. That's the power of unfiltered conversations. They break down walls. Here's my promise to you that every episode of Char's World Life Unfiltered will just be like this: honest, authentic, and a reminder that life's messiness doesn't make you broken, it makes you human. If you love today's episode, do me a favor, screenshot it, tag me on social media, and tell me your biggest takeaway. What spoke to you? What's one move you're going to make this week because of it? I want to know. Don't forget to hit that follow button so you never miss an episode. And if you're feeling extra loving today, drop me a review. I read every single one and they mean the world. Until next time, keep shining, keep striving, and keep showing up as your unfiltered self because that's where the magic happens. This is Shar from signing off from Shar's World Life Unfiltered. See you next time, family. Love you.